You know what I mean?
I think I know what you're trying to say. Yeah. God is not in everybody's world. So God's a gentleman. And unless we ask him to participate in our lives, he's not going to.
There's consent, yes.
So, there are people that are choosing to not have God in their world. He's not there because they don't want him there.
Mm.
So God just doesn't control the world because he can. He only wants to be a part of the world of those who want him to be.
Mm.
And that's one thing I love about God. He's a gentleman. He doesn't force his way into my life and dictate the life that he wants me to have. He allows me to settle outside of his will. He allows me to find grace and mercy when I make a mistake. Although these are things that he doesn't enjoy or he hates or he doesn't even hoping I don't experience in my life, he covers it because he is love and wants to draw me close. So I have God in my life. And so I know no matter what happens, I know God is there, but there are folks that are living in this world without God in it. And it's sad because you're right. They haven't even allowed God to be a part of their world, but here God has to take the blame for everything that's happening to them when they've not even allowed him to be a part of what's going on, so that he couldn't participate and bring comfort, couldn't participate and bring understanding or protection or whatever that looks like.
Yeah. I think one of the magics about my experience with God, though, is God can exist in your past. Like you can see God, like God can become part of your past in a way that changes it, I guess. And then in some ways it's like God was there all along, but not really until you, like you said, consented or saw or chose it to see it. So I definitely think that that's the magic. And I think that's the idea of the story of the prodigal son, right? Where the, I don't know, where the kid that was there all the time doing all the work, like to get from his father what was his or whatever. And then the other one goes away and just does all crazy and whatever, and then comes back and still gets all the goods. Like God comes into our lives when God comes into our lives. And for some of us, it's at different stages of our life. And I guess how we experience that might be different. But in the end, do we all still get the goods, so to speak?
Now, it depends on what good
we're working toward, like heaven,
right,
I guess.
Right. So, what good? So that example that you gave is a great example. But the son that stayed home didn't have the goods, because remember, he didn't even ask if he could kill a calf. And his father said, "You could have done this whenever you wanted to."
Right.
But he didn't ask. He harbored all this frustration and all this whatever towards his brother, and he didn't. So he didn't have the goods. He was miserable. He was jealous. He was overworked. He only had eyes for the tangible goods. So he didn't get the goods.